Hello everyone, I am Dr. M. Sivaji Rao, Principal of Sri Prasanna College of Law, Kurnool, Andhra Pradesh. Welcome to the fourth part of our Constitution series. In this video, I am going to explain about the unique or salient features of Indian Constitution. This series is not only helpful for law students but also for those who are preparing for competitive exams. So, consider subscribing to get notified for more videos on Constitution. As most of you know, broadly speaking, Indian Constitution is a federal constitution because the powers are distributed between union and states. But truly speaking, Indian Constitution is a quasi-federal constitution because Indian Constitution consists of both federal as well as unitary features. Comparing with other constitutions of the world, Indian Constitution has unique and special features. After getting the independence, the biggest challenge we faced was framing of our basic law of the land, that is Indian Constitution. As provided in the Cabinet Mission Plan, the Constituent Assembly came into existence in November 1946. The first meeting of the Constituent Assembly was held on 9th December 1946. On 22nd January 1947, Objectives Resolution unanimously adopted. The Assembly adopted the Objective Resolution, which later became the preamble of the Constitution. On 29th of 1947, a draft committee of 7 members was set up under the chairmanship of Dr. Ambedkar. The people of India were given 8 months to discuss the draft and propose amendments. As many as 7,635 amendments were proposed and 2,473 were actually discussed. The Constituent Assembly held 11 sessions. The draft constitution was considered for 114 days. In all, the Constituent Assembly sat for 2 years, 11 months and 18 days. At last, the new Constitution of India was adopted by the Constitution Assembly on 26 November 1949. The Indian Constitution is unique in its contents and spirit. Although it had borrowed many best features from other constitutions of the world, it has several unique and salient features that distinguishes from other constitutions of the world. Among many features, I am going to explain only 11 important salient features among them. First salient feature is lengthiest constitution. Indian Constitution is the lengthiest and biggest written constitution in the world. The framers of Indian Constitution, after studying various best constitutions of the world, noticed many problems faced in the working of these best world constitutions. After rectifying the problems, the present constitution has been framed. At the time of its commencement, it had 395 articles in 22 parts and 8 schedules. Now, Indian Constitution has 448 articles, 25 parts and 12 schedules. As on 25th January 2020, there are 104 amendments have been made to the Constitution so far. This bulky Constitution is due to several reasons. Further, we have a long list of fundamental rights and directive principles. So, obviously, Indian Constitution has become a lengthy, bulky and biggest constitution in the world. Further, after removing the defects in the world constitutions, it is incorporated only the good and suitable provisions of world constitutions to prevent any loopholes and defects in the working of Indian Constitution in the future. Unlike in foreign countries, in India we have many languages, castes, religions and different cultures. All these have been given constitutional protection. In American Constitution, states have their own constitutions, but in Indian Constitution, it laid down the structure of not only the central government but also of the states. Indian Constitution contains a long and detailed list of fundamental rights. Due to these reasons, Indian Constitution has become biggest and lengthiest constitution in the world. The second salient feature is parliamentary form of government. Generally, there will be two types of governments in a democratic country. They are presidential form of government and parliamentary form of government. The American Constitution establishes presidential type of government. Indian Constitution has provided a parliamentary form of government at center and at the states. In parliamentary form of government, majority party rule exists and the prime minister is the leader of the country and the chief minister is the leader of the state. This system is adopted from British model in toto. The main reason to adopt British parliamentary system in India is that Indians were accustomed and familiarity with the parliamentary system and for avoiding conflicts between legislative and executive. Now the third feature is rigidity and flexibility. Sometimes Indian constitution is rigid and sometimes it is flexible for its amendment. Generally, rigid constitutions will be written constitutions. Rigid means hard or difficult and flexible means very easy. In the aspect of amendment of constitution, rigid means the difficult process of amendment of the constitution. A rigid constitution is one which requires a difficult and special method of amendment. The amendment of provisions of the constitution relating to Supreme Court, President, Election Commission, Article 368 etc. are very difficult. In flexible constitution is one which is a constitution can be amended easily by ordinary legislative process. The provisions relating to the formation of new states, citizenship, creation and abolition of legislative councils are flexible for amendment. Now, fourth feature is fundamental rights. Part 3 of Indian Constitution contains a long list of fundamental rights. These fundamental rights are borrowed from American Constitution wherein it is called as Bill of Rights. Without fundamental rights, no democratic state will survive. In Charles Sobraj versus the Superintendent Central Jail Tihar case, the Supreme Court has said that fundamental rights are primarily protects individuals from any arbitrary state actions, but some rights are enforceable against individuals. For example, Article 17 of the Constitution abolished the untouchability. This provision acts as a check on both state action as well as the action of private individuals. However, fundamental rights are not absolute. They are subject to reasonable restrictions as necessary for the protection of general welfare. The Supreme Court in a landmark case, Kesavananda Bharati vs. State of Kerala, which is also known as fundamental rights case, has held that all the provisions of Constitution, including the fundamental rights, can be amended, but without changing the basic structure of the Constitution. Without fundamental rights, it is something more than mere animal existence. The Part 3 of Indian Constitution has recognized 6 fundamental rights. The object of inclusion of fundamental rights in Indian Constitution is to establish a government of law and not of man. Fifth feature is directive principles of state policies. Part 4 of the Indian Constitution deals with directive principles of state policy, which sets out the aims and objectives of the government. These directives are borrowed from the Ireland Constitution, which had copied it from the Spanish Constitution. Directives contained in this part are not enforceable by any court. In the olden days, the object of the state was to maintain law and order and protection of life and property of its people. But now, in the modern era, the object of a state is not only maintaining law and order and also protecting the life and property, but also to transform into a welfare state. To change the state into a welfare state, these directives should be implemented. These principles are fundamental in the governance of the country, and it shall be the duty of state to apply these principles in making any law. The sixth feature is adult suffrage. Prior to independence, Indians were discriminated and harassed by many ways by the British rulers. Even they denied Indians the right to vote. By experiencing their discriminations, after the independence, the old system of communal electorates, that is, elections based on religion, has been abolished, and the present system of uniform adult suffrage has been adopted. Adult suffrage means the right to vote to all adult citizens, regardless of wealth, gender, social status, and race. Under the Indian Constitution, every man and woman above the age of 18 years has been given the right to vote. The seventh feature is secularism. Secularism means a state has no religion of its own as recognized religion of state. It treats all religions equally. India has always been the place of different religious faiths. Perhaps there is no other society that is as multi-religious as Indian society. The coexistence of different faiths is an example of religious pluralism and tolerance. As such, India was made as a secular state. Our constitution allows to every person the freedom of conscience and the right to profess, practice and propagate any religion. This is a unique feature of Indian Constitution. The eighth feature is independent judiciary. Judicial independence is the concept of that the judiciary should be independent from the other branches of government or the politician in office. In an independent judiciary, the judiciary should not be subjected to any improper influence from the other branches of government or from private persons. Mere laying down a long list of fundamental rights without any machinery for their proper safeguards and enforcement, it will not serve any useful purpose. That machinery which protects and enforces the fundamental rights is the judiciary. Unless the judiciary is effective, powerful and independent, the purpose cannot be achieved. The judiciary is custodian of the rights of citizens, and it will play a major role in determining the limits of power of the union and states. That is why our constitutional framers have made an independent and impartial judiciary with a power of judicial review. Ninth feature of Indian Constitution is fundamental duties. In our original Constitution, there is no mention of fundamental duties. Only in 1976, through 42nd Amendment, the Code of Fundamental Duties are introduced for the citizens. The object of introducing fundamental duties is to serve as a constant reminder to every citizen to follow some basic duties towards the society and country. 10th feature is a federation with a strong centralizing tendency. The most remarkable feature of Indian Constitution is that though Indian Constitution is a federal constitution, it acquires a unitary character during the time of emergency. Especially during emergency period, the normal distribution of powers between the center and the states undergo a vital change. The union government is empowered to give directions to the states. The Union Parliament is empowered to legislate on the subjects mentioned in the state list also. The financial relations between Union and states will be regulated and controlled by the Union government. The Union can take coercive steps also for enforcement of the directions of central government through Article 356. So, due to these reasons, India is a federation with a strong centralizing tendency. Coming to the last and 11th feature is judicial review. In brief, judicial review means the power of the judiciary to interpret the constitution and to review the legislations enacted by the legislature. The doctrine of judicial review was for the first time propounded by the Supreme Court of America in the historic case of Marbury versus Madison. In India, Justice Khanna in the fundamental rights case said, if the provisions of the statutes are found to be violative of any of the articles of the Constitution, which is the touchstone for the validity of all laws, the Supreme Court and the High Courts are empowered to strike down the said provisions. Generally, power corrupts a man and absolute power corrupts absolutely, which ultimately leads to tyranny, anarchy and chaos. That is why Montesquieu, while giving his doctrine of separation of powers, desired to put a curb on absolute and untouchable power in any one organ of the government. Accordingly, in India also, to put a check and balance on the functioning and actions of other organs, Indian constitutional framers gave a vast powers to the judiciary by way of judicial review. Since this judicial review is an important feature, I shall explain elaborately in my next video. This is the end of the video. If you have any queries, please post it in the comment section. Thank you very much. God bless you all.